Blue Lock chapter 328 just dropped and we finally got the long-awaited conversation between Ego and Isagi. We even learned part of Ego's backstory, and trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. But before we start, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Blue Lock content every single week. So, the chapter begins with Isagi and Ego entering the elevator. Isagi asks what Ego wanted to talk to him about. Ego immediately brings up Isagi's last play in the Nigeria match and asks him directly what his true intention was in that moment. Isagi answers honestly. He says he simply wanted to score his own goal. To him, that was the obvious thing to do because he's a striker. He then starts worrying that Ego might be angry about it, but Ego isn't mad. He tells Isagi that it was the right decision to test a new theory after the win was already secured. However, he warns him that making too many risky individual plays can create unrest within the team. If everyone starts acting for themselves, all tactics and formations will eventually collapse. Ego adds that this new move should only be treated as a secondary weapon, and he advises Isagi not to rely on the methods he can consistently reproduce. Isagi understands that, but he also says that he feels like he's getting close to discovering a theory that could make him the world's best and even surpass Noel Noah. The elevator door opens and they step onto the rooftop of Blue Lock, revealing a beautiful massive view. Isagi is visibly excited, he didn't even know it was possible to come here. Ego explains that the rooftop is normally used only for emergency evacuations. Then Ego says something surprising. He wants Isagi to tell him about the theory that could surpass his own football philosophy. Isagi is overwhelmed by that and says he's not trying to deny Ego's soccer, and he asks Ego if he remembers the compilation of super plays Ego sent him before. Isagi explains that while watching them, he realized something important. There is a limit to what he can achieve on his own, no matter how hard he trains. He adds that when he faced Loki, Lorenzo and Kaiser, he understood that even if he could beat them in plays and even win against them, his individual skills are nowhere near theirs. And when it comes to Noel Noah's physical abilities, he says he could reincarnate a zillion times and he still wouldn't match him physically. That's when Isagi reveals his realization. He believes that the world is divided into geniuses and talented learners. One is not necessarily stronger than the other, they evolve through their mutual interaction. When a genius and a talented learner push each other into a proper balance and reach a shared flow state, their growth potential becomes limitless. Either of them can become the world's best. And that's why Isagi wants to become the ultimate talented learner. The existence that every genius in Blue Lock wants to surpass. He tells Ego to keep giving him new forms of soccer, and he promises that he will prove he can become the world's best. After hearing all of this, Ego suddenly asks Isagi a strange question. Do you think there is a god of soccer? Isagi starts mentioning legendary players like Maradona and Zico, but Ego stops him. He doesn't mean a player, he means something unscientific, unseen. Isagi is confused. He doesn't understand why a logical person like Ego would talk about something like this. And Ego explains, at the extremity of thought and effort, mind and body become one. Luck, environment, everything goes your way. You feel as if you're being guided by something outside yourself. An omnipotent divine possession. And then we get that insane panel. We see Ego back when he was an active player, wearing number 11 just like Isagi. He even looks similar to him, and behind him we see this shadowy god figure pushing him forward. Ego reveals that he once experienced this state for 7 minutes. He says that the only way he can explain that performance is through the workings of some invisible power. Isagi asks if this is different from flow state or the luck formula, and Ego answers that those are simply concepts he created to study and reproduce that godlike experience. Once again, Ego asks, do you believe there is a god of soccer? Isagi thinks about it and says that if this invisible power truly exists because of a god, then yes, it exists. He reflects on his own journey, meeting Bachira immediately after joining Blue Lock, the ball landing perfectly for him in the Japan vs Blue Lock under-20 match, and even his last goal in the Neo Egoist League. Isagi feels as if something has been guiding him all this time. A as if that god was telling him to aim for the top and become the world's best. Then Isagi asked Ego one final question: what kind of player were you when you were active? Ego answers quietly that he was just like Isagi, a dreamer with his head full of ideas, but the god no longer visits him, and because of that, he left soccer behind. Ego realizes he said too much and tells Isagi that they should head back. But before they leave, Isagi turns to him and declares that he will meet the god of soccer and that he will fulfill his dream. And the chapter ends with Ego saying, "Go and surpass me, Yoichi Isagi." Honestly, this chapter was straight big. It was all dialogue, but we absolutely needed a chapter like this. We finally got real insight into Ego's past, learned that he wore number 11 and that his playstyle was probably very similar to Isagi's. We also learned that Otoya is classified as a genius, and now Isagi might be on the path to encountering that god himself. Maybe not against Loki, but possibly in the final stages of the tournament. Sadly, there is a break next week, so chapter 229 will drop in 2 weeks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this chapter. Thanks for watching and I see ya in the next video.